Good morning and welcome to a new vlog. You're watching BookedonCharity. Remember to subscribe. It is Thursday. It's 7:30. I just made myself a cup of coffee. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna read before my work day starts. Oh, I love this background so much. But yeah, I haven't, this is the start of the vlog. I started very late. We had sprints the previous weekend, and I think I'm coming to the realization that the week after the sprints weekend, I'm not actually gonna pick up my camera because I find that I'm still so very exhausted. So it's been a lot. A lot of things have been happening this week that I needed to put my energy into, so picking up my camera was not one of them. But unfortunately, I also haven't gotten the chance to sit down and actually edit any videos, which I'm still trying to get to a point where I've got videos edited up front, like for at least 2 weeks worth of uploads, so that I can work kind of like on that schedule. But we'll get there. I'm reading House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, which is book 2 in the Crescent City series. I'm still like in the beginning. I am 84 pages in, so trying to make a bit of a dent on this one. I will also read during my lunch. Oh no, but I probably have to make dinner. Yeah, we'll see. But I wish I had an audiobook of this one, but I don't, because I'm not on Audible. But also, if I was on Audible, I don't know if this is available in my country because these apps be doing things like that. But yeah, this is what I'm rereading. Absolutely loving it so far, and I am tabbing this time around. I didn't tab the first time I read it, and I'm happy to do that now. And I just like, they just introduced Rune Danan, and I'm just like, yes, let's get into the story. But yeah, I'm about to read and we'll talk later. Hi you guys, so I'm here to talk about the book that I'm currently reading. I am on page 104. Moved a little bit from when I spoke to you in the morning because I did have like 30 minutes to read, but this is called House of Earth and Blood. If you have no idea what this book is and you've never seen this cover all over the internet, I don't know where you've been living. But yeah, this is House of Earth and Blood, book 1 in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Before you come here with comments and things like that, I'm a Sarah J. Maas fan, and I don't follow what happens on the social media side where it's like cancel territory. I'm not there. I'm just on these platforms to read and enjoy reading and find recommendations and hopefully recommend some good books to people. Okay, so I'm not about that life. Anyway, I have read this book before, like 2 years ago, gave it 5 stars, absolutely loved it. So this is a reread for me in preparation for House of Flame and Shadow, which I'm so excited for. Okay, so if you don't know what this book is about, we are following this main character called Bryce Quinlan, who happens to be a half-blood. She is half human and half fae, and from what we get from her characterization, we find that she is somebody who longs for belonging. She is kind of like a rebel, and her dad is from a fae bloodline. That's what makes her half fae. Her mom is human, and her mom got pregnant by her dad, but it's like it wasn't a great relationship, and her mom kind of like ran away and raised Bryce by herself and her husband, which happens to be Bryce's stepdad, who's also human. So Bryce grew up with more of the human side of her family, and her father was not really a present character in her life, but he has in his own way helped her get full citizenship in Midgard. Midgard is this world, and the place that they stay in is called Crescent City, which is in Lunathian, which I think Lunathian is like the country. Midgard is like the world, because we do understand from the storyline that they are other worlds, and before, this world used to be a human world until the Northern Rift, where all these beings crossed over to Midgard, and now it's a blend of different kinds of beings. There's fays, there's vampires, there's demons, there are shifters. So shifters could be like wolves, they could be lion shifters. I found out that one of the people in here is a butterfly shifter, and it's something that I missed the first time reading the book, so it's exciting to know all these things. So yeah, so these different types of beings, and there's different houses that all of these beings are a part of, that kind of like governs these different beings, and there's leaders of houses for each, and there's leaders for each of these houses. So 4 of the houses we have is House of Earth and Blood, which is titled after this book, and we've got House of Sky and Breath, we've got House of Many Waters, and House of Flame and Shadow, which is going to be book 3. So in House of Earth and Blood, we've got shifters, humans, witches, ordinary animals, and many other to whom Cthulhu calls, as well as some chosen by Luna. Luna, I guess, is their god, one of the gods, I don't know. And then we've got House of Sky and Breath, which Bryce falls under, and in House of Sky and Breath we've got angels, we've got fae, we've got elementals, sprites, and those who are blessed by Solas, along with some favored by Luna. So I think maybe Luna is like their higher god, and then they have smaller gods for each of the houses. So Bryce, because she's half human and half fae, she could have belonged to any one of the houses, but because her father is full fae, brought her into House of Sky and Breath, and thus she got her full citizenship to Midgard. And then we've got House of Many Waters, which include river spirits, mer, water beasts, nymphs, kelpies, norks, and other watched over by Organas. And then we've got House of Flame and Shadow, which makes me so excited because of the beings in here. So we've got Demonarchy, we've got Reapers, we've got Wraiths, Vampires, Draki, Dragons, Necromancers, and many wicked and unnamed things that even Urd herself cannot see. At the bottom it says, sprites were kicked out of their house as a result of their participation in the fall and are now considered lowers, though many of them refuse to accept this. So the fall happened when there was a rebellion by some angels against what was happening against their leaders, and that backfired, and therefore like sprites were kicked out of their house, so they didn't have a house they belonged to anymore. Some angels were actually taken down and have been like labeled as slaves, like literal labeling. So you get a tattoo on your arm saying SPQM to mark you as a slave, but the angels also have this halo tattooed on their brow, and not just tattooed but magically tattooed, so they cannot wipe it off. And they had a mention somewhere in the book that, you know, even if you had to cut your hand off when it grows back, because these people are like immortals essentially, as close to immortal as you can get, because they can die but they're hard to kill. But it can grow back, and when your arm grows back, your slave tattoo will grow back with it because it's magically bound, right? So that's kind of like the type of characters, beings you can find in this book. But the storyline follows Bryce, who, like I mentioned, is half fae, half human, and she's got this best friend named Danica, and Danica is part of the shifters. She's a wolf and she's a leader of her pack. And Bryce is also like a party animal, like they party a lot, they use drugs and things like that. And then a situation happens where Danica and her pack of wolves get brutally murdered while Bryce is out having a party and all that. And this situation obviously affects her very, very much, and she deals with a lot of grief in here, and her way of dealing with the grief is probably not acceptable by a lot of people. But that happens, and 2 years later, after they've locked up the person who allegedly committed this murder, these murders start happening again, kind of like in the same way. And Bryce gets asked, she didn't really have a choice, she get asked to be part of this investigation because she was a key witness the first time it happened. And on top of her being part of the investigation, because she's not actually somebody who can really protect herself in that way, they assign one of the angels, one of the Malachims, to help her through this journey. And this angel, his name is Hunt Athalar. And his magical abilities is those that are also rare to find. He can manipulate like lightning, where a lot of the other angels can like manipulate wind and air and rain, like things that are along those lines. But his is specifically like lightning, and he's known as the Shadow of Death because of his affiliation with the Archangel, and him being employed is the right word to use, employed to carry out assassinations and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of currently where I am in the book. On page 99 to 100, they properly introduced Rune Danan, and if you know Rune, you know what I'm talking about. Rune was definitely one of my favorite characters in the book. It's very rare that in a fantasy book the main character is your favorite character. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but that's usually like the case for me. Sometimes the main character is not my favorite character because the main character can be frustrating at times. They can make decisions that are just like just don't make sense or logical or whatever. But in understanding that main characters in these type of stories are usually going through something, whether it's loss, grief, whatever it is they're going through, whereas the supporting characters don't usually have that kind of backstory. But yeah, reading this one, having an amazing time with it. I am tabbing this book this time around. I did not tab it when I read it the first time. I was just going through and enjoying the story, and I guess that's the beauty of rereading, because now I know which details are important when I'm reading this time around, and I can mark them for remembering later on again. So yeah, busy with my reread of Crescent City. I'm currently not listening to anything on audio or reading anything via ebook. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what's happening in your life right now. I am going to make some food and then get back to work. Hello you guys, it's Saturday morning, just before midday. We're busy with our reading sprints, so that's why I'm wearing this. I was just making my coffee and I realized I didn't even like take a b-roll or anything of that, and I never even started a vlog at all for this weekend. So here we are, starting this vlog, kind of tired, making my coffee so that I can wake up a little bit. I am reading Will. Whenever like I'm not physically sitting down to read, I'm listening to Will, but then physically I'm reading House of Sky and Breath. I tried to start a different fantasy, but I think my soul still wanted to go to something that I knew and loved and was comfortable with for the last like 3 weeks. So this is where I am, and I'm trying to use the sprint to help me propel forward into the story much faster than I would if I was reading it by myself. So I think it's a good idea. I did spend most of this morning doing some work, so I didn't get much reading done, but from here on out we'll get some reading. And this is the last sprint actually. It's half. It's 20 past 11. But yeah.
So I got these glasses yesterday, and they're pretty great.
Okay, so we've got the coffee, and then I've got my food because I'm having brunch, and then I've got my book for this weekend. So this is what I'm concentrating on in terms of reading. I'm currently on page 55, so yes, got a long way to go, but I'm looking forward to this journey. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Where am I? So yeah, currently sprinting, and I'm gonna get back to it, read for another 22 minutes, and yeah, I'll chat to you guys later. Hi you guys, so I am busy with my read of House of Sky and Breath. I actually managed to get the audiobook on Audible on free credits, so which is great. So I'm actually currently listening to that. It took a little bit of getting used to because I'm used to my own voice in my head while reading the book, but I think I'm getting used to the narrator's voice. But I'm tabbing it, as you can see. I'm tabbing it, and it's so nice. It is so nice just to come through all those little plot details, plot lines, information being dropped, and I'm just gasping the whole time because my anticipation of the things that are coming up is more because I know that it's coming up, but I might not remember all the details. But it is so good. It is so good. I'm having such a great time with my read. I'm currently on page 98. So far, so good. And yeah, we're still sprinting. These are my sprints live on my channel. So yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. If you guys have read this book, you know, but I'm trying to like give thoughts on how I feel about this book without spoiling it for people who have not yet read Crescent City. But the writing style is still really good. We are meeting new characters, new magical abilities to explore. The writing style is still very easy and flows very easily. We're getting to a point where Bryce and Athalar are kind of like trying to figure out their relationship, but we are also experiencing that Bryce has commitment issues, and it might be linked to her upbringing and who her father is, and but yeah, having a good time. In this book we get to explore more of the other houses. There's 4 houses: House of Earth and Blood, where there are humans, shifters, humans, witches, ordinary animals, and many others to whom Cthulhu calls, as well as some chosen by Luna. We've got House of Sky and Breath, who have Malachim, which are angels, fae, elementals, sprites, and those who are blessed by Solus. And House of Sky and Breath is the house that both Bryce and Athalar are part of. We've got House of Many Waters, so we have a character, Therion, that we follow from House of Many Waters. And then we've got House of Flame and Shadow, which include Demonaki, Reapers, Wraiths, Vampires, Draki, Dragons, Necromancers, and many wicked unnamed things that Erd herself cannot see. So in House of Flame and Shadow, we only met one. Oh no, we did meet the Viper Queen, who is she's part of House of Flame and Shadow. So okay, we have met a character from each of the different houses, and yeah, we're getting to know more characters, explore more magical abilities that I can't really talk about here, especially for people who haven't read the book. So yeah, so far so good. We're still going on a journey where Bryce has to kind of like come into her power properly and figure out how it works and all that. So I'm looking forward to this reread. Hi guys. Okay. This is actually the first time that I'm gonna come on here and talk about this book. Did I even wait? Maybe let's start here first. Let's start with book one first and give you my thoughts on it, because I don't think I gave like final thoughts. But I finished reading House of Earth and Blood, which is book one in the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. Absolutely loved it, tabbed it a lot, and I mostly tabbed sections that I found were important to remember for the next couple of books, because when I read it the first time I didn't know that those sections were important, but now I can easily pick them up, or things that I want to remember, or things that were like really shocking to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 5-star rating again. I really enjoy the writing style of Sarah J Maas. She writes really easy, it's easy to read, it flows really well. A lot of people complain that it is very slow, but I think I enjoy slow books, which then means I enjoy long books, because we get a lot of time to get to know the characters, as well as get the world building, and everything makes sense. Like nothing feels rushed. And I was even saying to a friend, I think last week, that what I love about this book is she does a lot of character building, and she does it so well, and she does it so much that by the time things are happening and action is happening and there's these twists and plot twists and all of these things, people's actions make sense. I don't question why Rune is doing this thing, because I've gotten to know his character so much that his actions make sense to me. I've gotten to know Bryce so much that her actions are making sense to me. I understand that a lot of her actions are driven by grief, they're driven by loss, they're driven by loneliness, which is why she's acting and reacting the way that she does to certain things. So I love that she writes it in that way, and the way that she also follows the character, we hear from kind of like different perspectives. So in this first book, it's mainly Bryce, Rune, and Hunt that we hear from, and I absolutely love it. I loved it. The tension in here, the banter in here is really good. The action is really good. The plot twist is really good. You can see that there's a lot of kind of like small plot lines happening all around that I cannot wait to explore in future books going forward. So yeah, oops, I almost hit myself, but I really enjoyed this book. Absolutely loved it. I cracked the spine. I think the first time I read it, I was very careful not to do it, but the spine has been cracked, and I'm not a spine cracker. I'm not a spine cracker. I don't like to crack my spines. I like to keep my books in the most pristine condition that they can be in. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And so yeah, now I am in the middle of book 2. Oh, I've been listening to the audiobook. I need to see how far I am. Oh, there was also a spicy scene in this book. Okay, I'm finding my place. So I am currently on page 247. This 247. So this is how much I've read so far. Also really enjoying it, really good. They are new characters that we are following and building on, and getting to like another side of the story. We still have, it's very weird and rare to have a character that is dead that is still very influential in the way the story is like being driven. And if you know who I'm talking about, you know what I mean. and people didn't really like that, but I kind of find it interesting because there's like a mystery element to that character that we are seeing as we keep peeling off the layers, that there's so much that this person has hidden, there's so much that this person was doing, and there's a lot to explore, a lot to unpack from them. So yeah, I am really interested. So this story takes off like what, a few months, maybe 2-3 months after the events of book one, but then the opening scene is of a completely different character that we did not get to explore in book one, and it centers more around the war between Veneer and the humans and the rebels called Ophion. So we get to get a lot more of that, whereas in book one it was mainly like hinted at. So yeah, I'm really excited to continue with the story and see what gems I can pick up, what I had maybe missed from the previous time that I read it. And yeah, I'm really excited to carry on. So this is, I'm busy with book two. I don't have book three yet. I need to actually procure book three. I need to place an order for book three, but yeah, I'm happy. I think I might actually place an order today for book three, because I thought that I was hoping that I would have received a copy from one of the publishers that I usually work with, but there has been nothing coming to my, has been no deliveries. Therefore I am just going to bite the bullet, buy the book, because also I really love these covers, these trade paperback covers, and I'm planning on collecting all of the copies in this cover because I don't like the paperback covers. But yeah, that's my update of this Crescent City reading vlog. I'm gonna go make myself a cup of coffee and get into my work day. It's, yep, almost time for me to work. Guys, when you get a chance to reread your favorite books, do that. Please do that, because I'm here with a reading update for House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I've got flu, which is why my voice sounds like this, but I haven't come with a reading update in a while. Like, I'm almost done. I have less than 100 pages to go, and it's been pretty good. The events of this book literally takes off like maybe 2-3 months after the events of book one. I don't know if I've explained this before, or if I even still have the footage of me explaining this before, because my laptop crashed and I've lost basically everything and I have to restart. But it starts off there with the characters that we know, but the prologue already like includes a new character that we've never experienced before. We get exposed to different powers that we haven't been exposed to before, and the reason why we didn't know about those powers in the first book, and why they were hidden, and the fact that people with those kind of powers were hunted down by the Asteri and basically murdered because they were too powerful. And it kind of starts off taking us through this journey to try and figure out why the Asteri are so afraid of this power. What can these people actually do? And in this book we kind of like go back to finding out a lot of the history with the Asteri. So in book one we know that all these different beings came in during the what they call the Northern Rift, where there was kind of like a split on this planet that led other beings from other planets to basically come and live on Midgard. And because of that there's been war between the Veneer, which is the people with magical abilities, and the humans. and this war keeps going on. So in this book we like concentrate a lot more on that war and some rebel action in there, but there's also a lot of romance in this one, and not only between Bryce and Hunt, but there's other romantic relationships that are being talked about, being explored, which I'm actually really enjoying. And one of the scenes that I constantly look forward to reading about is between day and night, Agent Day and Agent Night. And if you know, you know. And I'm just waiting for this moment where the reveal comes out of who Day is, because at this point Day knows who Night is, like who the real person is, but Night doesn't yet know who Day is. So I'm looking forward to that. But I find that every time they go meet on this mental bridge of theirs and have their conversation, it just makes me smile. Like, I love the banter, I love how they're getting to know each other. Like, for me, that's a more realistic way of how a relationship comes about, which is one thing that I think Sarah J Maas does a very good job at with her fantasy romance. Like, they always slow burn, which I love, because we really get to know the characters, and both characters always have something that they're dealing with that they need to sort out for themselves, so that they can be the person they need to be for the other person. And all of the fantasy romances I've read from her has kind of like led down that route. So I really enjoy it. The steamy scenes, this one has a lot of steamy scenes compared to book one. Book one doesn't really have much steamy scenes, but there's a lot of angst in book one. In this one, it's a lot of flirting, a lot of steamy scenes, a lot of romance. There's also like a lot of plots going on in the backgrounds, because I've been reading and tabbing. I didn't tab too much because I did listen to a lot of the audiobook. That huge chunk that you see there that was without tabs, that was mostly me listening to the audiobook. But I tried my best to like take note, or at least tab very important information, because there's a ton of important information that I feel like, because now I'm kind of attuned to the way that Sarah J Maas writes, I know this information will come in handy in the next book. And I'm happy to announce that I have book 3 in my possession, and I can't wait to open it. After this, I just need to read another book that I've been looking forward to reading, and then I can go into that one, so that I can also read some books that were gifted to me, because at this point I'm just reading books that are mine, that I bought, and there's no obligation, but that's really what I want to read. So yeah, so far so good. I read a sentence that literally made me jump off the couch, to stand up and be like, what? Because I didn't remember this detail, and now I'm just getting to enjoy all these little things. And I remember how somebody was like, oh my gosh, book 1 was about Danica, book 2 is still about Danica. I think it's just a lot more. It's just that she's the one character who this whole thing started because of her. It started because of her. It started because of the research that she was doing, and it had led to a lot of actions and decisions that everybody else had to make. So it always had to come back to her. So I understand that, but I wish I never read that or heard that review. This is why I don't like to listen to reviews of books that I haven't read yet, because people's thoughts can like sway, or at least like stay within your mind. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this reread. It's gonna be good. These last 100 pages is gonna be good. If you read the book, you know where I'm at. But I'm at a scene where Ethan had just went to go speak with the Prime, and he was with Hypaxia doing that to basically talk about a mystic that he wants to be saved, because he found out that this mystic is a wolf and possibly an alpha wolf. And then something was revealed, and I was just like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this fact, but here we are. And yeah, I just wanted to give this update because I got really excited reading that, and now I just like, I can't wait to just go back and read. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of wine, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna enjoy my night. So yeah, I might give you guys like my final thoughts, reviews of book 2 tomorrow, and then I'm gonna read book 3, and then when I'm done giving my review of that, then this blog will be ready for uploading. I need to actually start editing it when I've got the laptop sorted out. But yeah, that's my update. I will see you in the next update. Hi you guys, so I finished reading House of SKILLSHARE, and I can take this out. Oops. And it was absolutely wonderful. It was wonderful. I think it deserves the 5-star rating that I gave it, because Sarah J Maas's writing is just, it's impeccable in the way of not really the writing style, but the way that she weaves these characters together and the multiple storylines, guys. That's what just knocks my brain a little bit. The multiple storylines, plot lines, characterizations that she's doing in these books, it just blows my mind. Because in book 1 we followed 3 perspectives: Bryce's perspective, Hunt Athalar, and then Rune. But then in this case we also come to explore other characters. Like, we get introduced more to the mer characters, like the mermaids people. We get to see a lot of them and what happens around the Blue Court, as well as a glimpse on other types, or not types of mer, but other houses of mer that we get introduced to. All right, and then we have other people with different magical abilities. We explore more on the human faction of this whole story, and we get a bit more as well of the Asteri. We get the angels, we get the fae, we get the wolf politics that is in there, that is also kind of like separate but a little bit intertwined. And I love how in the end they just bring on this twist where I probably can't say this. I can't say this part because it is going to be spoiler, and I'm trying to have this be kind of like a spoiler free reading vlog of Crescent City. But I am so impressed with the way that Sarah J Maas has written this book and the series as a whole. But obviously I've only read the first 2 books, but I absolutely love it. I think it's going to probably be one of my favorite series to read right now. Between book 1 and book 2, I feel like book 2 will stay being my favorite because of how she ends the story, and I'm not counting the epilogue, right? The epilogue is something else, and I guess it's a portion where people are always like, should I read this, should I not? But the epilogue is not as shocking because we kind of anticipated it. But the way that the book ends in page 798, that is shocking. That, I feel like up until the last moment you don't know what's going on, you don't know who you are coming across. And I always say that for you to really grab and to understand the impact of the last sentence in this book, you need to have at least read book 1 to book 3, I feel, of A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's not a requirement for you to read A Court of Thorns and Roses to even get into the story at all, but for you to really get the impact of that last story, you need to, at the very least, have read A Court of Thorns and Roses, because there's something in here that is mentioned, there's something that happens in here that blew my mind, that it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see where the story goes, which makes me anticipate book 3 so much. And now that I have it right there on my shelf, I'm holding myself off a little bit from reading it, because it's another book that I want to tackle and read before getting into House of Flame and Shadow. Oh gosh, which I can't wait. I can't wait. And she doesn't kill off people that easily. So with the characters do last a little bit longer. The person that was killed in here, I didn't have like any deep ties to, so I wasn't like very heartbroken, but it's just like, oh man, the freaking sacrifice that this person, that you know, that is made here. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this book. I'm giving it a 5-star rating. I enjoyed the characterizations. Like I say, she does it so well. Her writing style is so accessible. It's not like far-fetched or you need to have like a dictionary right next to you to read her book. I feel like it's very accessible in that way, but also her magic system is also very accessible. There are no glossaries in any of her books, but she explains enough of the different creatures and the magic system that you don't need it, right? It gets unfolded, it gets explained to you as you read the story, which I really like. I know that if I read something now that I don't understand, I don't even have to dwell on it for too long, because in the next couple of pages it will get explained to me. In the next couple of chapters I will get a little bit more of a glimpse of how this magic system works and where this comes from, and I really like that about her books. The plot twists, like I said, they kept coming in this one. They kept coming. There were times where I was just like, oh my gosh, and I like kept tabbing every time there was a major plot twist in my mind, as well as very crucial information that I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember this, but this is really important, and I know it's important because I've read the book before, right? And oh my gosh, there's been so many revelations in this book. I just can't wait. I can't wait. But I am only gonna read one book before I get into House of SCRIBD, because I don't want a break that is too long and then I end up forgetting some things again. But yeah, happy to have finished book 2. This one didn't take me as long as book 1 did, but I'm so happy because I think I'm back in my groove of reading again. And yeah, on to the next one.
Later on in the night, when the crowds have gone, we could talk under moonlight till dawn. We could stay to watch the sunrise, cancel all our plans. We don't need a reason why we just can't.
Good morning, you guys. It's Tuesday morning. I haven't been feeling the best. Yesterday I had an episode, and by that I mean I was dizzy. I had a massive headache. I don't know if it was my iron or what, but like I felt so sick, and I've literally had flu now for the past 2 weeks, but I can't even get better because I'm just constantly working. I'm so exhausted. I'm so exhausted. I already started reading House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I was only supposed to pick this up when I was done with Anna O and Will, which I haven't touched this week. but I couldn't hold myself. And I just kept thinking about the last events of book 2, and I'm like, now I don't have to wonder anymore, right? Because I've got the book, so why am I putting myself through so much stress? So I decided to start reading it. So I'm currently on page 54. It's going quite well. I've got my first tab. I'm very interested in the place that Bryce is right now, and with her being in that place, it's making me do a bit of research on those other characters, because I might have forgotten some things, especially in terms of their magical abilities. And now, because I see a bit of the link coming about, I'm trying to go back and refresh my mind as to what their magical abilities are, how do they relate to the other people. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's good, because it means I'm not spoiling it for you. But yeah, I'm really still in the beginning of this one. I'm hoping to make a good dent on this book, especially during the reading sprints this weekend. We do have reading sprints this week, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not pairing this with the audiobook because I don't have an Audible subscription. By Audible, I mean by all means Audible. If you want to support your girl with some free credits, I'm here for it, okay? But yeah, I did listen to the audio book of House of Sky and Breath on Audible, but I don't have a credit to listen to this one. So for now, I am reading it with my eyeballs, and it's good. It's good. I enjoy the writing style. I like that when you've gotten into the story and into the way that Sarah J. Maas writes her books, it's very easy to kind of like delve deep into it and flow into it. And this is the same thing that me and Vuvu were talking about, because she is reading Crescent City book 1. She just started, and she was saying the transition from Ekotar to this, it's a bit different, and I felt that as well when I read Throne of Glass, when I started Throne of Glass. But once you get into it, once you understand how her writing style is for this book, you're just like, okay, yes, now I'm here for it. And right now, no real new characters. There's a new character that we'll get to know, but they were already introduced in book 2, so we haven't really met anybody that's like brand new. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where Sarah J. Maas is going to take the story. I tried my best to stay away from people's reviews. I only saw Aaron's review, or not really a review, but just like a little thought on this book. But I'm not taking it too hard, because Aaron, sometimes you're harsh, okay? And this is the one time where I don't want to agree. I don't want to agree with you, so, and it's fine. So I'm staying away from all kinds of reviews, because I want to have my own thoughts, my own feelings towards the book that is not influenced by anybody else, because I do get influenced if I see or read a review and somebody, even if somebody says I like this book or I didn't like this book, that goes into my head and I start thinking about why, and I don't want to think about that, so I'm not watching anybody's reviews. So the minute she's like, this is how I feel about it, I was like, nope, skip. So yeah, this is what I'm currently reading. Good morning. It is Friday and it's the day after a public holiday, which I wish I had leave days, and today would have been like leave day for me. But also I have a lot of work to do for work. Yeah, it's currently 7:20. My husband just left like 15 minutes ago, so I woke up just to help him with his lunch and stuff, and I prepared my lunch as well so that I don't have to deal with it. But I'm working from home today. because I have a lot of work to get through and having to go into the office where it's actually like empty and most people on leave just didn't make sense. But yeah, updates. I've undone my hair. When last night I undid my hair because I've got a wedding to go to next week. And I want to get my hair braided. The lady that's gonna do my hair is gonna come to my house either on Sunday or on Monday, so we'll see. And she's gonna do my hair and she's gonna do my daughter's hair. So yeah, I was caught between doing like tribal braids and doing knotless braids, but I think I want to do knotless braids because I want them to last like a long time. But yeah, it is Friday. It is actually sprints weekend, so we've got sprints starting today. I haven't even done my YouTube post yet to set up my stream, but I will do that. I'll do that shortly. But I wanted to say good morning and give you guys some reading updates. Oh no, only of one book. I can't even update the other book because it's for a different vlog. So let me go grab my books. So I wanted to come on here and give you guys some reading updates of these two books that I'm reading. So with House of Flame and Shadow, I'm not actually going to talk about the book on this here vlog because I'm giving my review of it on my Crescent City vlog, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm currently on chapter 33 on page 300, and so far so good. I'm tapping this one from the get-go. So far so good. I'm enjoying it. It does read more like a first book in terms of the pacing in the beginning. It was a little bit slow. We are getting to know a little bit more of the history, a little bit more of the information, so that does take a bit of time, but I don't mind that. I usually enjoy that because I know how Sarah J Maas writes, and I love the way that she writes her stories, and I love the build up to, you know, the main thing. I'm not supposed to be talking about this book here, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Let me pause. So obviously I'm here with my update of House of Flame and Shadow. I'm currently on chapter 83 on page 698. I knew deep down that Sarah J Maas would deliver when it comes to like the end of the book, even though this here book was actually kind of slow. It was very slow because she took us through this journey of like history of Midgard and history of where these different creatures and beings came from. So we spend a lot of time on that and on the plotting and trying to basically overthrow the Asteri, and it took our main characters to different parts of this world, and so we saw a lot of traveling, we saw a lot of world building, we saw a lot of relationships being built. There were a few characters that were introduced in this book, not as many as we had in book 2, but we still got to know a few characters, or at least meet characters that we've heard of in name but not really got to experience as characters. But I mean, I've tabbed this a lot because there were a lot of things that were said, things were done, and in this one, she's not pulling back the punches in terms of killing people. People are just falling left, right, and center, and that's where most of the shocking value I feel is coming out. This to me does not feel like a 5-star read. It feels like somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5, because of how kind of like slow it was in the beginning, and it took a long time before things really started happening. It was like you had questions the whole time, and now things are like coming together, things are making sense, you get information, you're like what, and for the last like 100 pages, because I'm on last 100 to 200 pages, there's been a lot of things unfolding. So we are not yet at the main battle, but there's been little things happening in between that are like small enough battles that change the structure of things in terms of leadership in my guard. So far so good. I'm still really enjoying it. I just needed to pause to share this because I could feel that this is going to be a good chapter that ends in a gosh, and I don't know what's gonna happen. That's the thing, I just don't know what's gonna happen with any of these people because there's just a lot of things happening all over the place and I'm just not sure. But yeah, this is my update for House of Flaming Shadow. I'll probably come back before I finish. There's now like 100 and let's say 130 pages left of me finishing the book. I'll probably be back in the next 50 pages because a bunch of things are about to go down. Hi you guys, here with the final thoughts for House of Flame and Shadow because I didn't realize that I didn't give final thoughts and ratings. So I am rating this book 4 stars. It is definitely not my favorite in the series. I think book 1 was really good. It started off really well. It escalated really well, and the battle at the end was so epic that it deserved a 5-star rating for me. Kind of like something similar with book 2, but this one was really slow for a really long time. And I think that Sarah J. Maas went and delved into also some sci-fi elements in here that I don't know if I appreciated as much. And when it came to the epic battle, in the end, I didn't feel like it was at all that epic. And the way that the ending unfolded, like it was kind of like predictable, and I've never really had that issue with her before. So this is why this one is getting a 4-star rating, which is a little disappointing. It was still good, but it's still disappointing that it's not a 5-star like the rest. But the writing style is still really good. I still am very invested in the character. She did kill a lot of people in this one, so you couldn't really hold anybody too close to your heart because you just didn't know. That was, I guess, the most surprising element of it, whereas in the other books she preserved her characters for a long time. But and the ending of this doesn't really indicate whether there's going to be another book in the series or not, so I have no idea. And if there is, I don't know where it's gonna go. Like I have no idea where it's gonna go. But yeah, definitely not one of my favorites in the series. But yeah, that is the end of this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving it a thumbs up, and if you've read any books in the series, let me know which one is your favorite. I think I'm really stuck between book 1 and book 2. Book 2 is really the last sentence, but I'm just gonna, let's just give book 1 and leave it as a favorite for now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this one, and I will do my best. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Later on in the crowds have gone.